Tech Talk Tuesday.
To master volume or to not master volume? That is the question. Welcome to the next installment of, or the latest installment of Tech Talk Tuesday, brought to you by SRT Amplification. I'm Will, and today we will be talking about master volume. So, I've owned several amplifiers that had master volumes. I've owned several that did not have master volumes, and I never actually A/B'd two amps that were very similar to each other, one with a master and one without, to see what the tonality differences were, etc. But I have been experimenting with my Silvertone 1484, model 1484. It's a 1964, made in 1964, and it does not have a master volume. And I have been experimenting with one, and to not good results, at least to my liking anyway. So the quest on that still goes on. I have done some video of how it sounded before. I'll spare you on today's episode of that. I'll be putting all that together in a compilation later. But really, I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on master volume versus non-master volume. I found that I had a really good desired effect as far as my tone and everything, just putting an overdrive pedal in front of the Silvertone and letting it do its thing. But when I actually tried one version of a master volume, I found that I was very limited by what it could do, number one, and the dynamics of the tone actually suffered. And I have all that on video and everything, so maybe I'll get that put together. But anyway, that's the first thing. The first topic today is that master volume or not master volume. Do you want that preamp breakup of your amplifier without having to turn up the volume all the way and, you know, making your ears bleed? Or do you want to be able to get that breakup and be able to control it going to your power amp tubes, so you don't have such a high volume? So that's the question. Just put your comments in the comment section below. The other topic for today's Tech Talk Tuesday is, are tube amps dead? Let me bring up a emerging guitar trends article that I found on Reverb. 5 emerging guitar trends to look out for in 2018. And it's got some guitar stuff, obviously, blah blah blah, but then it gets to the amplifiers and it says solid state amps and all-in-one effect solutions gain ground. And then it's also got a section about the mini tubes or micro tubes or nano tubes or whatever they're calling them these days, and how they're being used in effects and amplifiers. But basically, you know, in the last NAMM, the 2018 NAMM, there was a whole bunch of these solid state amps being showcased, and they're trying to get a foothold in the market as a you know, they're trying to get people that are just diehard tube heads to see that, hey, we can do something, and we're making improvements on this stuff, and hey, how versatile these things are, and all of that stuff. So that's coming down the pipe in the technology's changing all the time. You know, we got these new nano tubes or mini tubes or micro tubes or whatever. But then I found another article on a site called Music Radar, and it is the 15 best guitar amps. Okay, and all but 2 of them are tube amps. So this is the 15 best guitar amps that are currently being produced in 2018. We have the Mesa Boogie Mark V. It is a 25 watt switchable down to 10 watt. That's another thing that's really big on amplifiers these days. The ability to get the wattage down to a, you know, a bedroom level. So here's the Mark V 25 down to 10. You have the Marshall Silver Jubilee that's still very popular. It's 100, switchable down to 50, basically just taking out 2 of the EL34s. You have the Boss Katana. Now this is one of the solid state amps. It's a 100 watt digital modeling combo, switchable down to 50 watt, 10 watt, and half a watt. So that's one of the things that's making these things so relevant today. And look at the price, you know. You're not going to get a 100 watt, and I know, don't inundate my comment section about 100 watt solid state versus 100 watt tube. But you're not going to get a 100 watt tube amp for $349. I'm sorry. Usually versatile, excellent built-in effects, high gain tones, rival tube amps, affordable, not for anyone looking for a simple amp. So a lot of things that I've heard about these things is they're not very user-friendly. A lot of times they have to take, you know, patches, you have to hook it up to the computer to get some of the effects. Some of the scrolling and navigation through the menu items is not very intuitive. So there's a learning curve with these. It's not just a, hey, plug it in, turn the volume up and play. It's you know, you have to be a rocket scientist to operate one of these. And then we have, of course, the old Fender's Blue Junior 4. It's 15 watt, single channel. You have the Black Star Club 40 Mark II. It's a 40 watt switchable down to 4 watts. You have the orange, the Vox AC15. Who doesn't like a Vox AC15, right? The Victory V40 Duchess. It's also a tube amplifier, 42, switchable down to 7, down to 1.5, down to half. The PRS Mark Tremonti 15 watt amp. I just saw an interview or a review of this from Philip McKnight, and he actually went to the factory where these things are built, and the designer and builder of this amp actually says that it's in, I don't know, I think he said in 30 minutes or so he could convert this to a 55 watt amp by just making some different connections and stuff in here. Don't know how true that is, but anyway. It does have 2 6L6s, so very believable, very believable. Okay, and then, you know, got this little solid state thing here, and this is really a profiler. I wouldn't even call this an amplifier, but the modeler can capture the sound of any amp ever made, it says, but it's really not an amp. You have to have an extra amp with this. That's why I didn't count it in the 2. So then Fender 68 Custom Deluxe Reverb, and then the EVH 5153. And you know, I owned one of these at one time. I owned the 15 watt version of this, and I could not get a clean tone out of this thing to save my life. It was dirty every which way. And then of course the Hughes & Kettner Grandmeister Deluxe 40, awesome sounding amplifier. And the Mesa Boogie Triple Crown TC50. So anyway, on one hand you have, you know, articles saying you know, basically is tube amplifiers dead. On the other hand, you have one that's basically saying, hey, these are the best tube amplifiers that you can buy out there, or these are the best ones out there right now. So, and you know, out of the 15 that they have here, you know, 13 of them are tube amps. So, or 12 of them are tube amps. But that's another thing I want to ask you guys about. Just a comment in the comment section below. Are tube amps dead? That's the question on this part of the Tech Talk Tuesday. So another thing that I am going to be doing on Tech Talk Tuesdays is also featuring some other things that I'll work on. I don't work on just guitar amplifiers. I'm also into phonographs and radio equipment, audiophile type stuff. And I actually have an audio amplifier that I just purchased on eBay that's probably going to be delivered today, so I'm going to do an unboxing of that. And then when I get that all set up, it's going to go right over here and get hooked up to the old record player over here. And I'm going to demo that out, so that's going to be a demo coming up. and then I don't know what state of repair it is in. I may have to do some repairs to it. I'll document that and get that out in a video. Till the next Tech Talk Tuesday, keep the tubes alive. And I appreciate your comments down in the comment section below on both of these topics. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already, and like this video. Thank you very much. SRT out.